weird, bro.
They updated a bunch of stuff. And well, what's going on, folks? Welcome to the OneCast. Welcome to the first Fishing Friday Live of 2026.
That's right.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Good gracious. 2026. Can you believe it?
No.
It's flown by. This is the third year, right? We started the show in 2023.
I believe so, yeah.
So this is the third year for the show, and we try to stay as consistent. I think we've missed maybe 3 episodes a week.
We've done we've missed a couple this last year.
Yeah, we missed a couple. It's been really busy, but man, it's been fun. Obviously, Pete's not in the studio tonight. He's taking care of a friend who unfortunately just lost a beloved pet, which, if any of you guys know, like, losing a pet is like a traumatic experience for sure. So he's not going to join us tonight. It's all good. Ben and I are going to rock it out and talk some fishing. But before we do that, support those who support us the most. They're scrolling across the bottom of your screen. OneCast Fishing, title sponsor of mine for this year for the Bassmaster Open Series. Thank you very much, OneCast Fishing. Head on over to onecastfishing.com. Use the code the OneCast, all one word, at checkout, and get your hands on the snagless jigs, the weedless nets, the soft plastics, the long neck hooks, everything that they have to offer. And also, speaking of OneCast Fishing, if you're in the Raleigh-Durham area, the 9th through the 11th at the Raleigh Fairgrounds is going to be the Bass and Saltwater Fishing Expo. OneCast Fishing is going to be there, myself and Ben, and a whole bunch of our other cronies that are going to pop in and out of the booth. So swing by and check that out. Also, we're going to have Hobie there. So use that link that we always give you guys to head on over to Hobie Eyewear and save money at checkout and get your hands on all those different floating frames that we love, all the different lenses that they have to offer. The spawn's going to be coming up soon. It's awesome to say that. So get your hands on those Sightmaster Pluses. They're also good for low light conditions and everything else. But if you're at the Raleigh show, we're going to have some Hobies there too. And then while you're online, head on over and check our partners out at CarolinaWatersNC.com. Carolina Waters, North Carolina owned business, has all that UPF gear to keep you protected from the sun. And then download the Deep Dive app, which I used a lot today. I just got done fishing a tournament about 2 hours ago. And download that feature and pay for that year's subscription. Deep Dive is going to help you break down bodies of water. It's going to give you all the conditions from the water level to the wind direction to the inflows, outflows, and the bait tool selection and best areas of the lake to target different species of bass. They got 3 species on there: largemouth, smallmouth, and spotted bass. I caught all spots today, thanks to the Deep Dive app. And then finally, move to Central North Carolina because it's January the 2nd, and almost 20 pounds won a tournament today.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, these fish are biting in Central North Carolina. So you need to hit up Terry Carpenter, carpenter@hbw.com, licensed real estate agent here in Central North Carolina with Howard Perry Walston and Caldwell Banker. He's a bass fisherman. He's going to get you squared away and put you in that house that fits your bass boat. Yeah.
You got it.
Got it.
What's up, Nick? David? Nick, it's not that cold in here. We got the heaters on.
Yeah.
You said spawn. I tell you what, so Trey's first Bassmaster Open tournament is at the end of the month, so you'll be pre-fishing here in about 3 weeks or so.
Yep.
So with that said, don't put any information up there about the Kissimmee chain at all.
None. 0.
Because that's where it's at. But you'll probably be catching some spawning bass or down there around that time.
I'm hoping so, man. I really love fishing Florida. Nick Kincaid, he's fished Florida a number of times. And congratulations, Nick. If y'all didn't know, Nick is now the new owner of Drop Zone Tackle. So I'm going to give you a free plug there. The rest is going to cost you. But Nick fished for years as a co-angler on the Toyota Series. And if anybody knows about Florida fishing, man, like, the fish are in pre-spawn mode right now, depending on the weather conditions. It's very possible that they're going to be on the bed when I get down there at the end of January. So, there's a lot of things that have to line up for that to happen. Warming trends, water levels, all sorts of things like that. But most importantly is, each one of those bodies of water in the Kissimmee chain act very differently. So finding the bodies of finding which lake is in, what phase. And also Florida strain bass are very, very fickle.
That is true. And the problem, I just looked at the weather. Next week, it's going to be in the low 80s down there. So, yeah. I mean, who knows with this? It's been crazy weather so far this winter for most people around the country. It's been warm a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I was back in Missouri. We on the day after Christmas, we went down to Branson Silver Silly, look at the Christmas lights in the theme park there, and it was 80 degrees.
Wow.
It was absolutely crazy. So who knows how that will turn out for you down there, but it's been there's been a lot of fishing opportunities so far this year.
Absolutely, man. Like I was just, I've been on the lake trying to keep the edges sharp as much as I can. And if you follow the Bassmaster Open Series for 2026, they got a rule of forward-facing sonar, no forward-facing sonar. Well, right now in the Carolinas, it's a great time to use forward-facing sonar, whether or not you're going out there crappie fishing, you're going out there fishing for bass. But I also have to keep in mind that for this first event, and hopefully it is a spawn event because I love fishing the spawn, forward-facing sonar is not allowed. And in the 2026 Bassmaster Open rules, they don't have a lockbox for your transducer cable. So the way that you got to skin the cat on this one is you have to legitimately remove the entire transducer, cut the zip ties or however it's mounted to your trolling motor shaft. You have to coil it up. You have to stow it completely away. And I understand why they're doing it. It sucks because it's like bore sighting your weapon system. And, once you get it dialed in, you don't really want to mess with it too much. But nobody made me play this game. I did it myself. So I'm going to cut that thing off tomorrow. I'm going to do maintenance on the boat, get everything squared away for the season. I'm going to cut that transducer off. Maybe, I don't know. It'll only take a second anyways, and stow it away. But right now in Central North Carolina, man, it's a phenomenal time to go out there and get really good with that piece of technology. I think we've talked about it a number of times. The winter time is such a great time. If you're new to that technology, it's a great time to get familiar with it and understand your angles and understand your cadence of your bait, your fall ratio, and simply just go out and catch fish. Because whether or not you're on Sharon Harris catching, 2-pound crappie, or you're up at Bugs Island catching, 14 to 20 pounds of bass, it's a great time and it's a great tool to help you do that. It's just fun. We here at the OneCast, we're not anti-forward facing sonar. We're whatever is best for the organizations, but the way that Bass is running it this year, it's 2 on and 2 off. And then the EQs are going to be either 1 on and 2 off, or 2 on and 1 off. Who knows? But I'm also looking forward to taking that thing off and just doing some quote unquote old school fishing, man. So Fishing Friday Live. What's up, Pete Dubs?
And Trey's going to be running that. It's 19 foot, right?
Mm-hmm.
That 19-foot tracker with the 150. We're hoping to get out not next week, but the week after, weather permitting, before he has to take off for some work in Florida to do a little video, because running a tracker, 19-foot tracker, in the opens, just get some content out there saying it can be done. You don't need a 250. You can go do it. Now you'll be good. We'll see how Lake Erie is. Lake Erie is up there. But hopefully the weather will be good, and not, because if not, you won't be going out. But
it goes back to the old saying, like, pick your battles wisely, right?
Mm-hmm.
With Division I this year, with Kissimmee, I have no issues with the boat. With Eufaula, Alabama, gonna be no issues with the boat. With Lake Norman, North Carolina, definitely no issues with the boat. Lake Erie is a different animal, which I've never been on personally. I've been on St. Clair and I've been on Michigan, but I've never been on Lake Erie. And if anybody, I think that's why it's got that name. It's a pretty eerie place. But anyways, I very well could find myself confined to a river or something like that. And, it's not like I can't go out in rough water, because I definitely have been out in 3-footers out on Lake St. Clair. But if I want to maximize my fishing time and I want to do well, I might have to stay in the river. I probably won't win, but you never know. You could always find something special.
Is Erie a Ford Fates sonar event?
It is.
Okay, so
Yep, it is.
it's too bad it's not, because that would make it a even more level playing field for you, because guys going out there scoping. What's up, Pete? Hey, Pete, are you going to be at the Raleigh show this year? I'm sure if you are, make sure you come stop by like you always do. Love to see you again. I was going to say, the one of the disadvantages of running a smaller boat, smaller engine is obviously getting to your spot and speed.
Yep.
But Norman, that won't really matter too much. It is kind of big, but like the place enough, and like it's not going to be that bad. I don't think you follow. It's not that big, and even Kissimmee, I think, don't those canals have a speed limit?
Yeah, so
because at Harris Chain, most of them are like 35 is the max.
Well, I mean, yes, they probably have. So, I mean, you have one lock that you can go through in Kissimmee. That's the Toho to Cypress lock. That river system that runs from Toho into Cypress, I don't remember seeing an actual speed limit on there. Regardless, if you're doing 75 miles an hour down those rivers in Florida, like you're asking for potentially something bad to happen. They're not that wide anyways. You can cast from one side to the next. So boats passing other boats in there, I think, is completely irresponsible, and it's a huge disregard for safety. But I'm not worried about that. I'll literally let the entire field pass me if they have to.
I guess there's no speed limit.
There's no speed limit. If the field wants to pass me, man. At the end of the day, like, I'm not going to sacrifice my safety to get to a place 5 minutes sooner. It really doesn't matter. And, even though it is a smaller boat and it has about 17 gallons less than typical boats, because I think it's a 33-gallon gas tank, but most big boats have 50-gallon gas tanks, right? My fuel efficiency is way better.
Mm-hmm.
So I might not be able to get there faster, but I'll be able to get there. I do have to build that into my calculus for my strategy, right? Whether or not I'm going to stay on Toho, I'm going to go to Cypress, I'm going to go to Hatch Nahar, I'm going to go all the way down to Kissimmee. And weather's going to play a role in that too. If it's bright bluebird skies for for practice and the tournament, you bet your butt I'm going to look for them on the bed, because that's where they're going to be. Right. But if it's bright bluebird skies and then the tournament's overcast and stuff like that, I need to find outside grass lines, offshore structure, which there's not a lot of, but there are brush piles and stuff on that place. And, you can find a lot of that on any of those lakes. Now, the lakes are very different. The vegetation in the lakes are very different. Kissimmee has Kissimmee grass and pepper grass and hydrilla. Toho has hydrilla. Cypress is different. Hatch Nahar is different. And they're all different water depths too. And so I think you're going to see the majority of the field run down to Kissimmee. That's where most of the big bags are weighed out of. But dude, the college national championship was won out of Toho. You know what I mean? So I got to find something as far away from the ramp as possible, as close to the ramp as possible. But I'm going to try to do, I'm going to try to John Cox it a little bit and hit some of those backwater areas if they're producing fish and they're on the bed. The biggest thing, and Mike Corbishley's been fishing the Opens he fished it last year.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, he was fishing the league. The one thing that is that you got to build into your calculus too is there's a lot of shiner fishermen down there that run guide trips, and you can use those as a recon tool, but you could also hurt yourself because and we had it happen. Mike and I had it happen when we fished Kissimmee before. We found fish, and the next day we went there during the tournament, and there's a guy with shiners sitting on that spot.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't beat that.
No,
right?
no, you can't beat.
So
you can't beat live bait. I don't know if any of the invitationals or any of the major tournaments are going down there before you all. If you haven't done it, check out all the coverage from the invitationals from last year, because I was watching some of that. I think actually when I went down there last year, they had finished up that Sunday, and so you can see where those guys did well and stuff, and they've got all that coverage online. So, and there were guys in all places.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, right? Like the no information rule, we've talked about it before, 28 to 30 days before the start of official practice. We're within that window right now, but man, appreciate that. There's so much content out there on all of these major lakes that these major tournament organizations go to. But you got to be careful with that, right?
Mhm.
Like I have such a hard time, even with my fellow competitors, like fish a tournament today, perfect example, right? Perfect example. Norman for the sober tournament, perfect example. Seth Ellis was out there fishing today with his partner. I fished by myself today, and he was catching all his fish doing the exact opposite what I was doing. And I tried doing what he was doing. I couldn't do it. I couldn't catch him.
You can't,
right?
You got to go figure out yourself.
You got to do what you're comfortable with.
It's to me, that type of stuff is advantageous to see that time of year and the conditions. Like where's most of the bigger fish fields doing, like which lakes pop, but down there things change so much that they spray the grass and do things and it can change. But like there's a lot of other lakes. I mean, so like Okeechobee, like what do they call that down there? The monkey box and all that in the west end, basically a lot between Clewiston and that Indian Prairie Canal is where traditionally when Okeechobee, that's where most of the top bags come out of, that on the southwest side. Now guys will do good on the north side, and every once in a while on the east side there'll be something, but it's rare.
Veda Graves.
But it just helps figure, dial some of that down, because there's so much water.
Yeah.
And it all looks juicy down there.
I start to look back at the last couple of years, especially with forward facing sonar and stuff like that. A lot of the places that were typical winning places they're not being won in those places anymore.
Well,
right.
I mean, we can talk about Okeechobee.
Yeah. Okeechobee.
What, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, the elites, it was one in the river.
Yep.
Now when Scott won the Open a couple years ago, Scott Martin, that was a traditional area, and there were people all around him, and he just smashed them.
Yeah.
But then when the elites went back there, it was on the Rim Canal because of I guess all the hurricane stuff that came through. So it all changes. It changes drastically, especially those lakes. Eufaula, Norman probably would be pretty traditional. Pretty traditional, yeah. But in the sense where a lot of the field will probably be, but it just all depends.
It does.
Situational.
I'm rooming with our good buddy Mike Johns.
Wow. Thanks, Veda. That's awesome. We appreciate it.
What's that? Is that a donation?
Yeah, it's a star.
What?
I think that's our first one.
What, Veda? You know what? We're gonna have to give him something. Yeah. That's awesome, man. Thank you so much. This is also going to drop on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and stuff like that. But that's something for the group. If you guys only watch our Fishing Friday Lives, know that we have a ton, and I mean a ton of episodes on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And spoiler alert for next week, it won't drop next week. Will it drop next week? It will drop next week.
No, this one will be the one dropping.
Okay. So in a couple weeks, we're going to have a really cool show next week that's going to drop the week after that. And I'll just tell the group, you definitely should go and listen to it. If you listen to podcasts on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, make sure you listen to our stuff. We're going to have Dustin Smith on, and Dustin Smith qualified for the Bass Pro Tour for 2026. I'm not going to give away all the things we're going to talk about, but his journey is absolutely amazing and what he's been able to do. So make sure you head on over to Spotify and Apple Podcasts and stuff like that. Check our recorded shows out, and leave us a review too. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Veda. Yeah, man. There are lakes that a lot of these organizations go to that you can do well off the typical stuff, but over the last couple of years, man, places like Toledo Bend, Florida itself, and the canals, and then the river systems, Paulineck won in the river system this year, in Okeechobee, right? Throwing a deep diving plug. But that was at Okeechobee, wasn't it? Or was it St. John's River? Who won?
I thought Robert G was using the deep plug at St. John.
So Paulineck, if you remember,
let me go back. I'm on Bassmaster right now.
There's 4 of them stacked up in the same river system. Pete Dubs said all the episodes are good. It's like the boys hanging out and talking fishing. Love it. Appreciate it, Pete Dubs. Yeah, man. We try to We usually try to do one recorded episode on Wednesdays, which drops the following Thursday. And then we
Polinick one.
we try to do our Fishing Friday Live. Sometimes we run short, so we just bunch it all up into Fishing Friday Live.
I was going to tell you, though, because I was looking at the schedule, because I was looking on to see what, what's the news going on. The junior series and the high school series for Bassmaster will be there on January 18th at Kissimmee Chain.
Okay, so they're going to be there right before us.
And the college on the 22nd and 23rd.
So they're going to be there right there before us.
Dude, that lake is going to get
pounded.
Get some intel, but like it's going to get pounded.
No, that's good. Okeechobee, big plug, big jerk bait. Absolutely, Nick. That's a bait too that not a lot of people are talking about, but everyone's talking about forward facing sonar like minnows and stuff like that. But dude, the jerk baits they're just, everybody that likes throwing a jerk bait knows it's a very, very effective bait. It can be, but when you pair it with forward facing sonar and a little bit of wind, you don't have to have wind in Florida for that, by the way. Cause
the Harris chain a couple of years ago, wasn't it, was it Lone?
Bill?
No, who was it? He was throwing that on that offshore grass, working a jerk bait a lot, I think, too.
I don't remember who it was.
I think the Johnson brothers have done that years ago, too, down there.
I mean, that's one bait I have not really thrown all year long. I threw it the other day and like a 22-inch striper ate it head first and broke my hooks.
I love throwing a jerk bait.
And a jerk bait, it's a great, Tyler Rivette. Yeah, Tyler Rivette was in the canal at Okeechobee smashing them.
The river.
Yeah, in the river.
Yeah.
In the river on Okeechobee. He was absolutely smashing them. But I'm saying like jerk baits, and there's some modifications you guys can do to jerk baits. I don't know if you guys play around with them that much. Just because they say they get down to 12 to 15 feet, like, well, you got to really pay attention to your line size. And I just don't see them getting down there that deep a lot. But it doesn't matter. But you can wrap lead around your hooks, around the hook shanks. I recommend that instead of putting the lead dots and stuff on them. I think the lead wire works a lot better. But man, a jerkbait is so effective.
I love throwing them. I mean, I'll throw them all year long.
Yeah.
Like especially with forward facing sonar. Like I think it's when forward facing sonar came out before the minnow.
What's up, Tim?
Became such a like the go-to for that. It was a jerk bait. That was the kind of the main one for that.
I mean, KBD put that jerk bait on the map.
Well, yes, but I'm talking about forward facing.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, the jerk bait's been, at Falls Lake and stuff, like there's been in the springtime, even like around those points and humps, it's just like,
yep. And that is a bait you don't need. I mean, you don't need pretty much forward facing sonar for any bait. You don't even need it for a jig head minnow, by the way.
No.
But the jerk bait, like,
it's so effective because the fish will come up, and even like a minnow and stuff, like to come up and look at it and nose it. You can just stop it and let it sit there.
That's right.
For as long as you want. And then, it's harder to do that with a minnow because it is going to start to fall.
Yep.
And you can just dead stick it there, and then just one or two rips that it becomes an instinct. It's a reaction strike at that point. You just trigger the reaction. And then sometimes you end up snagging them, and I guess that's legal. So
100%. But the other thing about the jerkbait too, especially paired with forward-facing sonar, is you may not catch them, but you can understand the fish's attitude at the time. I can tell you hundreds of times where I've thrown jerkbaits out there. Fish will be 2 to 4 feet under the surface, maybe deeper, but I like to hit them right there. And if there's not a lot of wind up here in North Carolina, it's hard to get them to eat it. But when it's cold, it's not. And a lot of times you'll work that bait, you'll change the cadence and stuff. They may not eat it. You change the color of your jerk bait. You change the cadence again. They may not eat it. Okay, now maybe they want something that is moving, and water clarity is a huge deal too. Mm-hmm. So like Bugs Island, very, very clear right now. Lake Gaston, very, very clear right now. If you can't keep that bait moving, they can tell that it's extremely fake, right? Striper are different. Striper is stupid. They're going to eat anything. But the jerkbait can at least key you in on, okay, they're not going to eat this. Now I can throw a minnow or a swim bait like the Stinger from One Cast Fishing over the top of them and get them to commit to that. Florida bass are different though. Just like Nick just said in the comments, need to throw it at the Roanoke. And that's basically North Carolina's version of Florida. They'll eat it down there. When it's slick, snot, calm conditions, you can get them to eat a jerkbait. And it's the weirdest thing, but I think it has to do with like Florida bass are so aggressive when they're fired up, and there's other things competing against them down there versus like our fish. So gators and snake, or, big dogfish or whatever they call it, mudfish and stuff like that. Like they're going to eat that jerkbait. You might have to change your color a little bit, but it's a great bait, man. I wish I had a whole lineup of jerkbaits in here to promote right now, but
what's your go-to jerkbait?
My go-to jerkbait. Here's the funny thing. So most people are going to be like, a Vision 110, 110 plus, whatever, Megabass and stuff like that. I actually own zero Megabass jerkbaits.
See, I love the +1+1, whatever it is, the super deep dive in one.
I own a bunch of Rapala jerkbaits.
Mm-hmm.
I own some custom ones that are Vision 110 bodies, but they're not Megabasses. I own like a bunch of different ones that I think they're oh gosh, who makes them?
I used to alternate a lot between Megabass and then Strike King ones.
I don't own them because of this. They're expensive, right? They're really, really expensive. And, I can get a jerkbait that's not a Megabass jerkbait, which is a great jerkbait. I can get them to do the exact same thing by putting, lead weight on the hooks. The other jerkbaits that I really like are the JDM ones. Like if you go to Tackle Warehouse and you go onto like the JDM section, the JDM jerkbaits, their hooks are absolutely trash. They're trash. You should totally take them off and switch them out, to include the split rings too. The split rings are trash. How do I know that? Because I got one sitting in the cup holder right now that has both hooks broke off from it. And it wasn't even that big of a striper, by the way. But I like the JDM ones. I like the big deep diving bills on the JDM ones. You can get them down really deep. I use 10-pound co-poly on my jerkbaits. I like that stretch and stuff like that. I don't ever break fish off on them. But yeah, I have a bunch of different ones. And then for Florida, obviously, if a jerkbait type deal is also like topwater stuff, man, like devil horses,
spy baits,
bangalores. Spy baits are great too.
I suck at those.
At spy baits.
One year before Florida going down there, I bought a bunch, and I even used the plastic straw tip, trip. And, I can't have a prop on the front of it because it just gets tangled in my line. I just can't do it. It's just too frustrating.
Do you tie a loop knot?
Yeah, I've done that too.
It just don't work. Huh?
And then, you put the plastic straw, like you cut up plastic straws to try to do that. And just
the big old Bagley Bangalore, Tim said, man, that Bangalore is fire. Nick, you talk about throwing a jerkbait down at the Roanoke. Throw a Bangalore down there. You can also throw a devil horse down there. I stocked up on those for Florida. And those are great too, man. Everyone is different with their setup. I like to throw my Bangalores and my devil horses. I throw them on straight braid.
I throw a lot of mine on.
I throw them on 30-pound braid from Cortland. That is a free plug for them, but that's the braided line that I use through my deal with them. And I throw it on a 6'9" top water cash and rod. A really nice tip. It loads up really well. You can cast that thing a mile with a 30-pound braid, and it's a great bait, man. It's also devil horses are still awesome.
Do you like the 6 cents jerkbaits?
So I've done okay with the 6 cents jerkbaits. I have a pile of them
because they're a lot cheaper.
They're definitely cheaper. I think my biggest thing is like they're a little big for me, just the profile of them. But dude, I honestly, jerkbait is probably one of the hard baits that I care the least about. Like you know, I care about my deep plugs. I'm a big Sixth Sense guy when it comes to like the DD22s, the DD15s, the C15s, the C20s. I really like those big deep diving plugs. I love the Strike King deep diving plugs. And in my square bills, you know, between Bagley, Berkeley, and Strike King, and then some custom ones that do really well. The other bait that I don't pay attention to a lot outside of jerk baits is lipless crankbaits. And I know that I have to
need some.
I know I got them. But you know, for Florida, I mean, you can't go wrong with a black back and gold lipless crankbait, right?
I mean, color matters, and it matters in the day, because when Sam and I went down there on the Harris chain, and I threw a lot of the I had some of the Bill Lewis original rattle traps, and I think some of the red-eyed shad, but he was throwing a one knocker and just like crushing me.
Was he?
And we're just fan casting all around us, and then the eelgrass up there on Lake Griffin, and but the next day I had much better luck, and then he still did really well, but it just kind of the day and color, something about the sound and the way it would fall, maybe the way he was working it different, but all we were doing is just ripping it through the grass. I got one that was a bone color that all the paint's gone, and I still use it because it's a lucky. It's
a Bill Lewis one.
No, that one was a red-eyed shad. It was the Strike King. Yeah.
The Strike King ones. So the Strike King and the Booyah, Smoky Joe rattle traps. I haven't seen those in a minute. The Strike King and the Booyah ones are very similar to me. The Bill Lewis ones, they got that pointy nose and stuff. I have those. I use those more on like blueback herring lakes and stuff like that. I really like those on those lakes. Obviously, if you're in Central North Carolina in February, even right now, but definitely come February in the Piedmont region, you want to have a craw colored lipless crankbait tied on. I've crushed giant bass, 5, 6, 7, 8 pounders on lipless crankbaits come February when they're in that pre-spawn mode. They're not necessarily in their winter pattern, but they're sliding up. They're great baits. You can yo-yo them. In Florida, I've always liked the Strike King red eye shad. And I think I like that because I feel like for me, it comes through that grass better, right? Like I'll tie it on straight, 30 or 50 pound braid, depending on what type of vegetation I'm using. I'll use just a cash in like medium heavy. Yeah. Red eye. No red. Red. Yeah, definitely red craw, orange craw, but red definitely is the go-to color in February, especially around here. But down in Florida, when Seth and I went down to Orange Lake this year, Lake Orange down in Gainesville, Florida, home of the awesome Shaw Grigsby, I absolutely destroyed them. Didn't even have the right rod. I was throwing on a frog rod. I didn't have the right rod. It was terrible. No tip on it. I was still able to land some 6 and 5s and 4s. But I'll throw that on a Cashin 7.3 medium heavy multi-purpose rod paired with that braid. And that tip is just enough to where I can snap it through the grass. And dude, when it falls and you go to snap it the next time and it just loads up. Yeah. So you got to definitely, I definitely change my hooks. I change them to the Mustad hooks. The stock ones, I can't get them to not bend, using braid. If you're using fluoro or something like that, you might have a better chance and stuff. But yeah, lipless crankbait's the other one that I'm pretty simple, man. I got like 3 colors or 4 colors, really. I got black and gold, chrome with a blue back, chrome with a black back, and then my craw ones, right? And some gills and stuff.
You need some bone too.
I do need some bone. It sounds like I need some bone colored Smoky Joes there. Nick Kincaid said Art makes some good lipless crankbaits. So love the old Excalibur hooks. Yeah, me too, man. Like I feel like hooks aren't built the same anymore. I don't know, the stock hooks. Red Eyes have a great.
They're all made in the same factories.
There they are. Pete's dad's on here from up there in Pennsylvania. I think they're iced over up there, but Pete's dad had a hell of a year catching some smallmouth and walleyes and stuff like that. So yeah, man, I am looking forward to it. I love fishing around here. But it's hard to beat the scenery of the Florida fisheries. I've never been to Eufaula, Alabama before. I've been to Lake Norman a number of times. Pete's dad and myself have been fishing partners the last few years at the Special Operations Bass Angler Tournament. And I've never been to Lake Erie before. Luckily, Pete,
do you have to get 2 fishing license for Eufaula?
I don't know. Do I?
Oh, no. Is that it?
I need to get a Florida fishing license.
Is that the one?
I'm gonna
yeah,
get
you
that.
do.
Do you?
Hang on. No, that's a different reservoir.
Yeah, Pete Dubs. That's Pete Shanderick Jr. That's Pete's dad. I think there's like 87 Pete Shandericks in his family.
It looks like it's on the. That's weird. I type in.
I don't know.
I type in Lake Eufaula, Alabama, and it brings it up, but it also says Walter George Reservoir.
I don't know.
But that's a border. It looks like it's on the border. So,
well, maybe it's. I'll have to check it out. Maybe it's like Kerr Lake or Bugs Island, as people refer to it. There's reciprocity there. If you live in North Carolina, you can go on the Virginia side, which we launched today out of Ivy Hill, and that's on the Virginia side and stuff like that. So, dobbing a minnow around. That's all I did all day long. Just threw a little minnow. And if you're wondering what I throw, it's a Strike King Z-Man or a Strike King Z2 minnow, both in the full size and in the junior size. And then I have some other minnows and stuff like that. But that's what I was catching everything on today was a Strike King Z2 junior or mini, whatever they call it. And I was just targeting fish that were floating anywhere between a foot under the surface down to 30 foot. Now, granted, I switched my jig head up, but caught 14 pounds of spotted bass, man. Like that's pretty good. That's a pretty good day, especially fishing against those guys up there that are local hammers on that lake, dude. It's crazy. But yeah, what else are we going to talk about?
It just wasn't any news. That's why.
Did you get what you wanted for Christmas?
I didn't really want anything for Christmas, so I guess so.
Tim said, Trey, do you know the weight for the heaviest bass in North Carolina?
It's like 15 something, I think. North Carolina state record.
I do not know that.
It's in a farm pond.
Yeah, it is a farm pond bass, which I don't think that shouldn't count. I'm just kidding.
15 pounds, 14 ounces. Union County, 1991.
91. There you go. Ben just told you 91, 15
Biggest
pounds.
smallmouth was a Hiwassee Reservoir, 10 pounds, 2 ounces.
Good gracious.
That was 1951. No, that ain't going to happen again.
Yeah. I'll tell you this. I broke my, so 2025, January 2025, I caught my biggest spotted bass ever. That was out of Lake Gaston. That was 6 pounds even. That was 2 ounces. You have to beat a state record by 2 ounces, I believe. So I think, what's the state record for spotted bass in North Carolina?
Oh, North Carolina.
State record.
State record spotted bass.
I think it's like 6 pounds, 2 ounces.
6 pounds, 5 ounces.
6 pounds, 5 ounces. So Nick said,
at a Lake Norman in 2003 using the Zoom finesse for him.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Good gracious. So I caught a 6 pound spotted bass.
It makes sense that's that long ago in Norman because they've overtaken him so long.
Yep.
There's been some others that might have been close, but they weren't certified.
And if I'm not mistaken, what's the Virginia state record for spotted bass? Because when I posted that spotted bass, 6 pounds, I had the scale.
4 pounds, 12 ounces.
So
our goal needs to go to Bugs this year. Stay on the Virginia side.
4 pounds, 12 ounces is the state record for Virginia.
2000. Yep. Caught in Clater Lake.
Dude, Seth Ellis beat that state record today, and he doesn't even know it. He caught a 412.
You should call him up right now. Call him up on. Well, 412 is the record. But I guess he could have officially weighed. But yeah, that's the official it says on here that there's obviously bigger ones, but that's the one that's
Dude.
been. I'm gonna go to the website and confirm this.
You guys definitely got to, like, whatever state you live in, like when you catch a giant, like don't necessarily
Sorry.
depending on the rule.
Well, the actual state, there's two of them. There's a 6 pound 10 ounces in Flanagan from 1976, and then a 412 that was caught in 2020. So
Really?
what's the asterisk on here?
I don't know.
Denotes record fish caught before using new state record fish rules adopted 1985. So whatever the rules change, but still for 4 pounds 12 ounces caught in 2020. Oh my Lord!
Wow. Well,
he could have had the.
Well,
he could have had his name in the paper.
So yeah,
probably got some sponsorships off that.
Dude, what I'm saying is, like, you know, like in North Carolina, it takes nothing to get a citation fish, and you have to be really, like, you should totally look up your state records. If you're fishing, like largemouth is going to be a hard one to beat, but spotted bass is very possible, right? Like Josh Hooks just went out the other day, caught a 10 something largemouth. I still have never caught a 10. Right. 9.6 is the biggest largemouth I've ever caught. Caught two of those out of Sharon Harris years ago. But spotted bass are getting so big in Bugs and Kerr Lake and on Lake Gaston right now that you absolutely, if you live in the area, you have the chance of catching a state record spotted bass.
We should make it our point this year.
I'm telling you,
to go document and film it and go chasing the.
Yeah,
because it's there,
and you know, and catching a state record like catfish is going to be pretty difficult to do when you're not a catfisherman, right? But you should totally pay attention in the states that you live in, what the citation regulations are. Like, how do you get a citation for a fish? I know the saltwater guys are huge on citations, right? Like speckled trout in North Carolina, like they're huge on getting those citations. It's like catching a 10-pound bass, but you could absolutely set a state record. What did Tim say here? Let me scroll up.
I do know. I think the white perch
is like 2 something.
It's like 215. I guarantee you there's one in Harris that's bigger.
Oh, 100%, dude. 215 for a white perch. Tim said in Massachusetts, a 15.8 in 1975 was caught in a pond. It's now come to the surface. Someone saw this guy bring it up from Florida. It's being investigated. No way there was a 15.8.
Yeah, there's a series I need to do that I've researched for the biggest bass in every lake. And there's a couple of those. There's like one in Kansas and Nebraska too, that the guy had just come back from Florida.
Yeah.
And because it was way bigger than anything.
Mm-hmm.
But like there's some like I think 8 or maybe even like double digits that were caught like in Idaho and places.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just think you got to pay attention to your state records, man, especially right now. If you're not iced over like Pete Chandrick Jr. / senior, and you can get out there on some of the Carolina lakes, some of the spots in Virginia and south of us right now, you have the chance at catching one of the biggest fish of your life. A buddy of mine fished a lake yesterday in North Carolina. It would be northern North Carolina. He caught 28 pounds for his best 5. Absolutely mega giants. And he didn't catch them on minnows. He caught them on big swim baits.
So going back to I just looked it up, going back to the Massachusetts, when I was looking all that stuff up, the controversy at the time, because I don't know about the now being investigated, is that I guess apparently in Massachusetts, fish caught in private ponds don't qualify. And so the thought was the guy had caught it in a private pond and just moved, said he caught it in the Sampson Pond or whatever, which is a public fishery that the public can go to. So that if I remember correctly, that was some of the controversy out in the forums and stuff that I read. But I mean, who knows what they'll do to get their records.
Dude, people will cheat to do anything. Tim said 15.8 is huge in Massachusetts. Tim, 15.8 is huge anywhere. I don't think I've ever seen a 15-pound bass in my life.
Is it 15.8? That's bigger. That's the same as the North Carolina state record.
Yeah, that's just That's obnoxious, right? Like, I mean, I don't even think they're catching those like consistently out of OHIV anymore. You know,
I haven't seen a lot. I mean, I'm
no.
sure they're there, but that probably Josh, what was his name? Jacobs?
Uh,
Josh, the guy, not Josh Jacobs, he's the running back, but
Kyle Hall.
no,
Oh, Josh Jones.
Yeah, the guy's
Josh
out
Jones,
there.
yep.
Yeah, JJ. I knew it was the JJ, but the guy out there who last year or the year before was just catching all of those double digits out in Ivy and stuff. They're probably still there. I guess we'll find out because MLF is going there.
Oh yeah, 100%. You know, Nick said pond fish shouldn't count. Change my mind. Here's why I won't change your mind. I think any fishery that isn't managed by the state shouldn't count. If you can manage your own pond, which I got a buddy of mine that has like a 12 or 15 acre pond, and he has stocked it with absolute giant bass, and he has a shock test done on it every other year, and it's stocked with the perfect amount of bluegill, crappie. He does 2 crappie tournaments out of that pond to catch all you can and take out. If you're breeding big fish, that's like high fence hunting, right? Like,
I think if you have to require a fishing license.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like my little lake I live on, it's private in the sense that you can't go on it unless you're a member of the community.
Mm-hmm. But you still need a license,
but you have to have a license.
You got to have
fish it, and you have to have your boat registered.
It's not a pond either.
Yeah, but like there's some smaller places that like say San Lee Pond over here in Sanford. You have to have a fishing license to fish there. Correct. But it is a pond. I mean,
yeah. I mean, but it's also, I mean, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, having a fishing license to fish there,
not just a solely individual pond. Otherwise, like you can go to you just make your own fish hatchery. Which, by the way, there was one for sale not very long ago, an old fish hatchery, like an hour from here.
Really?
Yeah, it was like tons of 40 acres of like these mostly ponds and stuff, and like
golly.
Yeah, it was like
yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Well, hopefully my goal, and I think this is a lot of anglers' goals. Like, I want to catch a 10-pound largemouth.
Yes.
I was shocked to catch a 6-pound spotted bass. I want to catch a 6+ pound smallmouth. My biggest one is 4 something.
Same.
But
3.5.
This year down in Florida, the probability is higher. But if you are in North Carolina or you want to come to North Carolina, like February, March timeframe is a great time in the Piedmont region to catch the biggest bass of your life, especially on a place like Jordan Lake or Falls Lake. I'm not even a fan of either of those lakes that much, but you can absolutely catch some giants out of there. I know, like I said, Josh caught a 10-something out of there. I think another guy went out to, I heard allegedly that another guy went to Falls Lake and caught like 40 pounds. Which is not unbelievable, by the way.
No, because last year, the year before, like at Jordan, they caught in the tournament 38 pounds.
Exactly. So I mean, I've watched Corbishley drop, mid to high 30s on that pond before. So it's a great time to get out and fish, man. So, and then if you guys are wanting to crappie fish right now, Sharon Harris, the crappie are absolutely stacked. And if you want to know exactly where they are, just look at all the boats on the water because they're everywhere. Yes. I told Ben earlier, and I don't catch and keep I don't keep fish, but I'm about to. There was like an 89-year-old man who was out on Harris the other day, and he couldn't catch anything. And I went and I loaded my boat with 20 crappie because that's the limit, right? 20 crappie on that lake that were 1 pound, 10 ounce or better. And I threw those in the floorboard of that old man's boat. And he had just had the time of his life. He was like, thank you so much. But I watched multiple friends of ours go out there and absolutely destroy the crappie. So if you want to go catch some crappie, go to Sharon Harris right now. In fact, I think on Sunday, we'll be there. John Cox got forward-facing sonar on his boat. The world's on fire.
No, he's joking.
Is he joking?
Yeah, I think it was a joke. But it's like Yeah, it's a joke, but like he's trolling people. No, he's not. He's not actually putting on his boat, but that would be something.
Yeah, this year's going to be busy, man. So Bassmaster Opens, 4 tournaments. If I qualify for the elite qualifiers, you guys got to sponsor me on the show. We'll see. Also going to fish Fishers and Men this year. That's going to be 5 tournaments. Not a single one of those tournaments conflicts with the Opens.
You fishing with Pete again?
Yeah. But we're going to fish out of his boat. I'm going to make him do the work this time. I told him, I said, hey, it's your turn. I just want to be a passenger princess the whole time. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a busy fishing year. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to taking One Cast Fishing on the road, taking Hobie, the One Cast podcast, Take a Warrior Fishing, like all the great events. That's another thing too, is so not only the Opens, Fishers Men, but Take a Warrior Fishing. We got 6 major events for 2026. It's going to be a heck of a time. We got saltwater fishing events. We got bass tournaments. We got multi-species things. So if you don't know about Take a Warrior Fishing, I'm wearing the hoodie right now. I think I wear this thing every day. I haven't washed it, but like once. Go to warriorfishing.org. If you're a boater, and Pete Dubs, he's been there before. Go sign up as a boater to Take a Warrior Fishing in one of those 6 events that we got. Tim said, any of you boys getting new boats this year?
No.
No.
But I am doing stuff to my boat.
Yeah. Ben's
Now-
upgrading the Triton.
Now, because since I was gone after Raleigh's show, gotta get it wrapped, gotta get the new flooring on, but I got new power poles and new graphs to go on. I bought them during Black Friday.
What'd you get for graphs?
I got 2 10-inch Explorers
Okay.
to replace my Helixes, and then we'll see what I do up front.
What are you going to do with those helixes?
Well, one of them, the control board is like going out
Oh, is it
because sometimes it won't come on. Sometimes you got to shake it and do a bunch of stuff. The other one's still good, and the one the transducer is actually hooked up to. So I don't know yet. Maybe I'll hawk them for a few bucks. I got that and a 7. I don't even know if I have the transducer for the 7 anymore. It might be still in
So
the
that
box.
Triton's going to look like a whole new boat.
So that's the intent, because look, when I first got it for the first few years in the garage all the time, but when we got the new house and I kept it in the boat slip and then the garage making stuff, it set out a lot. So it needs new flooring and a new wrap would basically make it look brand new, because that I repowered it in 2021. It's only got like 200 hours on it.
Yeah, I think I got like almost 1,000.
So it'll be almost like brand new. It's just I need to, after the Raleigh show, because this week's packed, I gotta upgrade. I got all the latches. I need to replace the latches because the cheap Triton ones, they like bust and stuff.
They all bust.
So replace that stuff and then talk to the guy about putting the gator deck on.
Mm-hmm.
Want to get it probably tan with our logos on there. So One Cast Fishing, the One Cast, and then want to wrap it like OD green American flag, something like that.
Yeah.
And then with two black power poles, 8-footers to replace my one.
It's going to look good.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good
good.
looking boat. So hopefully by sometime this spring we'll be all good to go. So I got to hop on that because I like to have it all good to go. By the time the second show is done at the end of February, so I can do a lot of fishing. Plus, like Take a Warrior fishing events. I want to have it ready so I can take some vets and stuff out there and have everything looking nice and pretty.
Yeah, Ben's boat's getting a whole makeover. If you haven't seen my boat, I got a new wrap on that. Compliments of Take a Warrior Fishing. Got the big One Cast Fishing logo right there in between that and the stars on the American flag. Pete's definitely not getting a new boat. He just got a brand new hull from Vexus, which was built in 2025. It's still labeled whatever year his manufacturer was, but I will probably get another boat. It'll probably be towards the end of the season. I will not get rid of my current boat. That way I have 2, one for Take a Warrior Fishing events solely, and then one for more on the tournament side and stuff like that. And I will probably go with another aluminum boat. It might be the same brand. It might not be. We'll see. There's a lot of guys that want to get me in a Phoenix. You know, Phoenix is a great boat. They're all great boats in my opinion. But you know, there's a lot of fuel efficiency, a lot of both with the boat and the truck. When you have an aluminum boat, there's some things you can do. There's some things you have a harder time doing. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. So I don't know. You know, there's a lot of money associated with buying a new boat too. And frankly speaking, I don't like having any payments. So, you know,
I mean, you're tournament fishing now.
yeah.
Once you need to get your LLC set up so you can use it, at least a portion of it.
Yeah, that's true. That's
written
true. Tim said, Trey, I saw an old Legend with an Army tactical package and thought of you. Where did you see that at, Tim? I want to say I've seen that boat before, but I could be completely wrong.
Legends,
There's not a whole
they were
lot
made in South Carolina, right? When they were up.
I think so. I mean, there's a couple guys around here that have some. I don't think they should ever get rid of them. It was a great boat. The holes are beautiful on those boats.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, you know, Jordan Lee used to run one for a long time, and you know, I mean, obviously, you know, Stratus is the new Phoenix, or Phoenix is the new Stratus. Phoenix is the new Stratus.
No,
Stratus is the Stratus is Phoenix now. It's basically the same thing. Legend is gone now.
No. Camus is like a Triton because they were Benz.
Yep, Camus is like a Triton.
Stratus got bought out years ago by Johnny and shut down.
But they took the same either top cap or bottom cap and made it for Phoenix. So it's basically the same dang boat. Ranger's still Ranger, made by White River Marine now.
Vex is still Vex.
Vexus is still Vexus. So, I mean, at the end of the day, like, I don't really know what I want to go with. It really has to do with price. You know, it's a tool for the trade.
To me, as I look at them, you know, at Elevate, we got on those, you know, Bass Cats and Phoenixes and Skeeters there. To me, it's more about price is one, and then the functionality, the layout.
Sure.
The layout is a big thing to me. Like, I want things that I think are going to be conducive to the style and how I want to fish and how I want to store stuff.
Yes.
Because there's just some things I'm like, some people like doing it that way. Like for me, I don't like I don't want to put my rods in the center box.
Yeah.
That's where I want my tackle and stuff.
Yep.
I want my rods on the outside, and preferably I don't really like the ones that have the little day box too with the rod locker.
Mm-hmm.
I want 2 full rod lockers.
Yeah. So you like the way like the Nitro Z20 is set up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the Bass Cat probably has the worst setup I've seen.
And
that's just my opinion. The Puma STS is different, but all of the other versions of the Bass Cat, I'm really not a huge fan.
They're too narrow for what I want.
Yeah.
I like a larger fishing platform.
Yeah. I'm just, you know, multiple boxes, and Phoenix has a boat like that too. I think it's the 920, has 2 boxes stacked. Now the Tracker, I actually don't mind the center rod locker compared to the way that the new Trackers are, the new 195s. Now the Savage 215 is a different story. That thing's got a massive front deck, massive rod locker storage, massive tackle storage, but I don't like having 2 compartments in the front. Like,
see, I don't think I would mind that. To me, the reason why I want rod lockers on the side, because I want to have like probably 50 rods out trying to figure out what I want to use. And if I need to get a new package of tackle, or, you know,
want to go in the front.
I want to go open that thing up and not have to worry about my rods falling off and moving rods and all that sort of stuff. So, I mean, that's just how I like to be.
Now, Falcons are cool because Falcons open up like that with your rods on them.
Yes.
So that's really cool. And now, granted, that's all rod storage. They have center tackle storage. Falcons are probably one of the coolest boats.
And Sam loves his Falcon.
Yeah. I mean, Trevor, our buddy Trevor's got a Falcon. I think it's a 205 or something like that. And those things ride like Cadillacs. They are like, I mean, Rangers ride really, really good. Mike Johns' Ranger, it's a 2017, but I mean, that thing rides like a Cadillac. Like, he didn't even have to have his hands on the steering wheel. But that Falcon rides really, really nice. They're not the fastest boats, but they're the nicest riding boats that I've been in. Pete Dub said kayaks for the win, 100%. And by the way, Pete, kayak fishing is the best YouTube content to pregame a tournament. It's not bass boats. It's kayak fishing. I've been watching those kayak guys fish the Kissimmee chain for weeks and weeks now. And what I like about watching the kayak guys is they have no choice. They have to pick apart an area of the lake. And they do it so well. And I watched the Bassmaster series last year, Kayak Bassmaster series, and I learned a ton about how those guys were fishing, what they were fishing, why they were fishing it. Bass boats, you got to remember, when you're getting, 50 minutes of content, that's really like 8 hours of fishing, and you're missing a whole lot in between that. With the kayak guys, like, you get to see pretty much what they're doing the entire time. Even if it is 50 minutes, you know that they didn't go 18 miles down the lake.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So kayaks for the win. Pete Dubs, about ready to wrap it up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Guys, we appreciate you joining us. Let me recap real quick. Raleigh Bass and Saltwater Fishing Expo.
A week from today, January 9th through the 11th. We will all be there. We're going to have One Cast fishing gear, all the gear that One Cast carries. We're going to have Hobie Eyewear there. Right across from us, I believe, this year. I'm in a different spot this year.
Oh, in a different spot?
I'm closer towards the entrance a little bit.
Okay.
Closer to that front wall.
Okay.
Where the entrance is.
All right.
Yeah. So I don't know where 911's at, but 911 will be there. Custom lures.
Take a Warrior
fishing.
Yep.
Is Carolina Waters going to be there?
Carolina Waters
I
should
assume
be
they
there. So yeah, all of our friends, all the partners are going to be there at the Raleigh Fishing Show. If you're not going to be there and you're going to be in Knoxville, Tennessee in March, or if you're not going to be there, you're going to be down in Fayetteville, I think February, right?
Yeah, it's the same as your Kissimmee tournament. So yep. I think that Sunday's February 1st. So that would be January, I guess, 30th, 31st, and February 1st.
Yep.
Something like that. That last weekend in February will be at Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Yep.
Obviously, Trey won't be there. He'll be down fishing championship Saturday or Sunday.
I hope so.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I hope
Thanks,
you go win that thing. And then the Bassmaster Classic, which is like the 14th, 15th, 16th, something like that of March in Knoxville.
Yep.
And then Nick will be at with his new business Drop Zone. He'll be at Richmond this year, which is the following weekend from Raleigh.
Yeah, guys, check all the events that we have out. Check out warriorfishing.org and all the Warrior events that we have established for 2026. Follow along in the Bassmaster Opens. Hopefully I don't finish 230th, but you know what? If I do, I'm going to be representing these brands all day long, baby. Appreciate you joining us. Have a great weekend. Happy New Year. Hope you got everything you wanted from Santa Claus. And thanks for helping us continue growing a culture of anglers, helping anglers one cast at a time.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, God, it's a toad, son. It's a toad, dude.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.